Hey everyone, it's Rue Dog Does Politics. I thought I'd use this video just to talk a bit about the events unfolding in Afghanistan and just put my 2 cents into the jar. As everyone will probably have seen, as a result of the US decision to withdraw troops out of Afghanistan, it's turned into a massive hellhole. The way in which the Taliban have just completely and utterly surged into the country, pretty much unopposed, with the Afghan forces just letting them come in and not putting up a fight. All of this has happened in the past few days. And Taliban forces have pretty much just driven into Kabul, the capital, and are now roaming the streets, toting rifles, completely and utterly emboldened by the events that have allowed them to do this. And yeah, it's quite distressing actually. I've been thinking about this for the past few days and just watching it happen. And it's just quite upsetting. It just watching desperate people clinging onto a cargo plane and falling to their deaths. There just aren't words to describe how desperate that situation is, and the fact that the people left behind, that we're leaving behind, that we're potentially abandoning to their fates, men, women and children, who have spent like a fairly stable 20 years, with NATO forces pretty much occupying Afghanistan and at least forming some sort of government which eventually failed and fell to its knees as soon as the invasion came. These people have been educated, been allowed to get jobs, careers, gone to school, live fairly, decent lives. That's now being crushed before our eyes. Because a Trump policy has been continued and been acted on, and troops are now leaving and letting the Afghani people, just leaving them to their fates, and which we're seeing now. Just it's really awful. It's really awful, and that this is such an abject and utter failure, not just militarily, but in terms of foreign policy. 20 years of us, the West, being in Afghanistan. This is just one example, but countless other Middle Eastern countries as well. What have we achieved? What have we achieved other than giving the defence contractors millions upon millions of dollars in profits from the manufacture of weapons that, incidentally, the Taliban and potential terrorists are now possessing? Those weapons now belong to the terrorists. Congratulations. The people living in these countries are now so vulnerable as a result of our actions as so-called Western democracies. We have utterly failed them. We have utterly failed these people. It's gross that we're being seen to turn our backs on the people that we told that we would help and we would not leave, and we're leaving now. We're leaving them to to whichever fate befalls them. And it may be that the women are vulnerable, the girls are told that they can't go to school anymore, that they have to stay at home, that they have to be forced into marriages that they don't want, to husbands they don't like, forced from their families. You know, journalism banned. And we're told by the Taliban in a press conference yesterday that, you know, no revenge will be happening. You know, women's rights will be upheld under the guise of Sharia law, whatever that means. I think we all know what's going to happen to them eventually. Their rights are going to be utterly crushed and stamped upon. As soon as our backs are turned, or as soon as we're distracted, you know, they're going to be systematically oppressed, like they were in the 90s when the Taliban had control then. And you know, I go back to, like, what has this achieved? What have we done? You know, what's the point? What's the point? And you know, ex-veterans, military veterans have been saying, you know, what was the point of us being there? I lost both my limbs. What was the point of that? I lost friends, I lost loved ones, I lost family members who fought in Afghanistan and who fought with NATO forces to at least try and form some sort of government in that country, to no avail. What was the point? Someone tell me what was the point, other than to massively enrich defence contractors who are raking it in and have got huge profits as a result. It's disgusting. This is only meant to be a short video, but you know, it's just really upsetting. It's so galling. And I think the worst thing of it is when I see, you know, on the TV, on the radio and such, that you see pictures of these men just happily driving into these cities unopposed in their pickup trucks with their guns, their rifles, their weapons, and they just look so emboldened. And I find it really disgusting that people are afraid of them. People are terrified of these men and what they may or may not do to them. Like women and girls, these vulnerable people are just having the fear of God put into them as a result of these emboldened, disgusting and pathetic men who feel like they can do absolutely anything because they've got the power and they've got the control, and they make it known by roaming the streets with their guns held in the air, making shots and asserting themselves. It's just pathetic, and it really saddens me that, you know, they're inflicting that sort of pain on people and making them feel so afraid that they feel helpless. And that's a horrible, horrible thought to me. That is a horrible thought, that those people are, you know, just terrified for their lives. And what are we doing about it? Oh, we'll take 5,000 refugees over the course of, you know, a year, and then we'll bump it up to maybe 20,000. You know, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. We can easily take more refugees. We could take tens of thousands. But our fucking racist, xenophobic government has been throwing red meat out to their base for so long. They don't know what to do. Something's got to change, and change really fast. Because this is a death spiral. And I'm sorry to be dramatic, but you know, the pictures we're seeing coming out of Afghanistan and beyond, it's quite distressing. And I really hope that somebody can do something, or we as a country decide to get our act together and just at least try and make the best of a shit situation and try and help as many people as is humanly possible, because I do not want to see the Taliban and terrorists victimizing, you know, anybody that they feel like, because they see that as a victory, and you know, we have to fight against it. We have to fight against it. Yeah, those are my thoughts. This has gone on for a while, but yeah, I'll see you soon, folks. Bye.